In this video, I'm going to go over my mid-spine mobility routine for shoulder health. If you've got a stiff low back or some neck problems, this can also help as well. Typically, we are all out in front of us, very forward usage of our shoulder. We don't reach up, we don't reach back, we don't twist. This is going to take us out of flexion, put us into extension, and then from extension, we're going to go into rotation, and then from rotation, we're going to go into lateral flexion or side-to-side flexion. All three of these mobilizations of the mid-spine are rare in training and rehab, in my opinion, or more rare than they should be. This will go over thoracic extension, rotation, lateral flexion, and then we'll end with a nice posterior or behind the back shoulder articulation routine to add on top if you've got shoulder issues. So again, mid-spine needs to be opened up before the shoulder. Basically, the mid-spine in the rib cage is where the shoulder blade lives. If I'm here, it moves the shoulder blade's location or its home. If I get it back open here and in rotation, I'm starting to put that shoulder back in familiar territory, and it just helps with overall mobility throughout the entire body. This will also get some hips, this will also get the neck, and some other things. So it's a great full body routine to visit every day. If you drive a car, work at an office, do anything like a normal person, this would be a wonderful thing to do 5 to 15 minutes of a few rounds a day and see how you feel. So the first thing with thoracic extension, sometimes that's too drastic to go all the way back, so we want to go from flexion to neutral. So I'll go into an L sit against the wall here. I like to point the toes and push my knee pits down to the floor. I like to keep my tailbone, back of the shoulders, bra strap line, back of the neck, all snug against the wall. Not forcing anything here, just being snug like a wedge in the corner of this wall. Then take my arms like beach arms behind my neck, rest my thumbs on my clavicles, take the elbows and shoulders back to the wall, and just this should be a pretty struggling position. Imagine if someone had a lasso around you at the bra strap line, and they tried to pull you forward. You're going to pull them back lightly, snugging that mid-spine, bra strap line, bottom of the shoulder blade line to the floor. From this position, push those knee pits in, sprout through the crown of your head, and breathe for 5 to 15 breaths here. Big inhale through the nose, always down into the belly. Exhale, stay tall. Audible exhales are nice here. Exhale, stay tall, don't shrug on the exhale. Again, 5 to 15 breaths. Once you're out of flexion and into neutrality, we'll go into extension. You sit at the base of a box, a chair, a couch. Basically, you just want this to be above the bra strap line and under the tag line, somewhere in between there, and feel free to do multiple positions here. So we put it in our first position, heels are in, so again we can kind of wedge back into the box. If you need a pad on here, it's too hard, use a couch or add a towel. We'll go into our beach arms again, thumbs rest on clavicles. Big inhale, nasal, exhale, we reach back. Big inhale, exhale, we reach back if it's open and comfortable. If it's not, don't push it. And make sure you're exhaling on the way back because it depresses the ribs so we don't hyperextend and get too much work in the low back. So we don't want too much work in the low back and we don't want too much work in the neck. How do we get it out of the neck? We keep the chin in. Imagine your lymph nodes under here, double chin, tuck into those lymph nodes. Inhale. Inhale forward. Exhale back. After about 5 of those, we'll do a 3 to 5 breath hold if comfortable. Don't push this stuff too early. Get all that air out on the exhale. If on your exhales in this 3 to 5 breath hold you feel space on the exhale, take advantage of it. But again, don't push it. We're not trying to get high numbers here, high pressure. We just want to open up naturally. So 5 to 10 reps, exhaling on the way back, inhaling forward. 5 breaths, holding that final extension and getting comfortable in the extension. The next thing we'll do is get into rotations. So from the side, we're going to get into our quadruped position. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. And we're just going to step with a little narrower than push-up width apart. And we're going to step the leg right outside. If this is not possible and you can't get the leg up, then you can just do it without the leg, so bypass that position. Again, step up. Imagine my body as a fossil or a statue. The only thing that moves is the leg. You're going to get a little rounding, a little movement in the statue, but just keep that in mind to keep it quieter and quieter. So once we step up, whatever hand is by the foot pulls like a bow, and we look up to the ceiling, and we get a nice big opening through the mid-spine. 3 to 5 breaths here on the initial. Exhale, maybe we open up. Not in the hips, all in the mid-spine. Return. Do the other side, facing the camera here. Come back, statue, torso, and leg. Lift here, little narrower. Up. 3 breaths here. After 3 breaths, we're going to come back down, and then we're going to go into marching. So just 1 breath. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Ways to make this more difficult is to step narrower. I'm exhaling on the reach this time. That's not important. You can inhale or exhale at either portion, play with both, see which one you feel more comfortable with. Again, you can tighten to make it harder. To make it easier, you can go wider, or you can not step at all. So the rotation is a little harder if we don't step, but we don't have to worry about hip mobility. So that was extension, and then that was rotation, and the last one we want to cover before the shoulder articulations is lateral flexion. So lateral flexion, I call this the prone head raise coil. So we're in kind of like beach arms, but the hands are down here. And what we're doing is trying to keep the legs and butt quiet. And we're not hinging out to the side. We're coiling as if someone was turning us to look at our foot to the left. I like to point this elbow forward, keeping both hands hovering. This elbow points that way. This elbow points this way. You can imagine people pulling it. Inhale, return to center. Exhale. Coil to the right, try to look at your right foot. Inhale, center. Try to feel this in the mid-spine between the shoulder blades. Imagine you're coiling in a narrow hallway. I don't want to hit my head on the wall. I want to turn inside the hallway. Remember, try not to use the legs as much as we can. Hover the hands. Keep the face nice and close to the ground. You don't want to do this. You want it to be nice and low. If you're feeling too much in the low back, you can kind of tilt the pelvis. Maybe even cheek to floor. Nose to floor. Cheek to floor. Nose to floor. Quiet legs, quiet butt cheeks if you can. Remember, don't rest the arms or face or head or cheek into the ground. And return. So I wouldn't do holds on that one. I would do strong rotations on the exhale. Inhale, return. Strong rotation on the exhale. Inhale, return. I do 2-3 minutes of that, or you can do 1-minute rounds with a little break in the middle. That's gonna fry you up pretty quick. The last movement, now that we've got extension, rotation, and lateral flexion, it feels pretty active through here, pretty active on the back. You feel a little more uprighted. Now we're ready to move the shoulders like real shoulders on a much more predictable thoracic plane or rib cage. Again, the shoulder blades sit on your rib cage, which connects to your mid-spine. If it's out of whack, the shoulder blades go into weird places. We just put everything back. Shoulder blades are now down. In yoga class, you always hear shoulders down and back. Well, you don't want to do that with the shoulders. You want to make that naturally happen. Notice how that shoulder melts down the back. I don't have to jam it back and press it down, which can actually do worse stuff to your posture. I just get taller, chin in, nice and tall, and now the shoulders are hanging off this nicely placed rib cage on this very mobile mid-spine, which is the goal. So last but not least, we'll do the prone swimmers. I'll show up from the side initially. Same position in the prone position. Don't want to be like this. Want to keep this nice and tucked. First position is Superman, palms to the ceiling. Nose is about a credit card's width away from the floor. So you can even touch it to the floor, but don't put your weight in your head. So nose to floor, but you're holding your head up. Straight arms as high up and close to the body as possible. Control, don't rest through here. Thumbs to the low back, belt line, butt cheeks, wherever they go, however high they go. They might be down here, they might be there, they might be here. Once you get as high up the back as you can, again, don't rest, keep it active. Come back up to Superman high. And then we start to rotate and twirl into what I call the W, or the field goal. Then keep those elbows up, beach arms from the earlier exercise, and then try to touch the tag of your shirt, lift those elbows up. Don't use the low back, keep it tucked. Reach those elbows to the front wall. Return, field goal. Spiral back into here. Arms go all the way up as possible. You're twisting the thumbs toward the ceiling here. We're not reaching up. Knuckles to ceiling, palm to ceiling. Touch back, return. The slower and more controlled, the better. And you're gonna fry yourself with 2 to 3 reps here. So go slow and controlled enough. It's a lot. Go slow and controlled enough to keep that stuff low rep. You don't want to do a bunch of lazy repetitions with rest periods. Active the whole time and go very, very slow. One more time. I'll show you from this direction. We'll get here. We'll start in the W this time. We'll go beach arms, tag line, reach the elbows, field goal, Superman, lift, inward, outward, down, field goal, beach arms, together. This is sped up a little bit. Again, very intense. So I would do 2 to 3 rounds of anywhere from 2 to 5 reps of those. If you're doing more than 5 reps, slow down, make it stronger and slower. And again, you can do all these movements, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then repeat, or you could do 3 reps of each, or 3 sets of each. Either's fine. One more last thing to add when we're here, you can also start async, where we go and do the shoulders opposite to each other. So if you want to add some complexity, slow, controlled tag to shoulder blade, articulations, the whole time, keep the shoulder up away from the floor. Don't clutter the neck, keep lots of space here, and don't sag and do this. So keep this all spacious. Nose to floor, but not putting weight in it. You get the idea. So again, those are the movements to open up the mid-spine and then teach the shoulder how to navigate its new familiar territory. Give that a whirl and let us know how it works.